Hello, Cleveland, and everyone from everywhere else. Welcome to your 10-minute TA for Sunday, May 4th, 2025. Before we get started, please give me a like, give me a subscribe, and as a thank you, I give you Chapter 4 of Rollo the Raccoon's Adventures, A Friend in the Glow. There, curled beside a sapphire stone, was a baby dragon, no bigger than Rollo himself. It blinked with curious golden eyes. Rollo knelt slowly, offering his paw. With a shimmering of light, a lifelong bond was formed. Alright, let's dive into these charts. I'll turn down this music a bit. There we go. All right, we're starting here on the weekly as the weekly candle has closed. And it has invalidated this bear flag. So let's just get rid of this bear flag first. It's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to get rid of the bear flag there. And the fib retracement for the bear flag there. And now we can go over the numbers for the week. That's again up here, right up there. These numbers. You can't see it if I put my cursor over it. But these numbers right there. So for the week, we started it off at $94,459. We reached a high of $97,921. We've reached a low. By we, I mean Bitcoin. Bitcoin reached a low of $92,900. And we closed at basically the exact same place we opened at $94,398. About $60 off or $50 off. $50 off, just about. Just about. $60 off, just about. Anyway, yeah. What that's giving us, though, is this spin top candle here. And as we've talked about before, I think we talked about it yesterday as well, spin top candles are reversal patterns, or a reversal candle. They're not really a pattern, they're just a candle, but they are a reversal candle. Which means that we may likely see a little bit of downside coming this week. Now, that would actually be supported by our daily chart and what we've been talking about here on the daily for the past few days, week now. But we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's take a look at the RSI and the Stochs, which both look fairly bullish, honestly. Why do I say that? Well, the Stochs are pointing to the upside. They're not overbought. They're well above their signal line. And yeah, that shows strength and movement to the upside. For the RSI, these are the Stoch RSI. Remember, so this is a stochastic that takes it from the closing values for the RSI, not for the price action. There is a Stochs for the price action. It's just called stochastic oscillator. But this one is the stochastic RSI oscillator, so it gets its info from here. And that tells us that the strength, that the RSI may continue moving up here. Now, if it does, that's great. We want to see it move up and put in a higher high. Basically, we just need to get it over 61. Not we want to see Bitcoin get over 61. Bitcoin's RSI on the weekly, get over 61. I keep saying we, but it's like, it's because I'm involved in the market. So you guys get what I'm saying. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. So we're probably going to see a little bit more downside as the price action comes down. Now, how far down is the question? As long as we can keep a higher low, then our trend is reversing. What trend? Well, this down, lower highs there and lower lows there. And now we got a higher high, even high, which could turn into this could turn, it's in here. Where are you at? There you are. This could turn into a cup and handle. Possibly. I'm going to turn it white for visibility. And same deal. The handle come off sort of like a bull flag almost. could also come to the downside. Let's make these white also. Well, don't make them white. Don't make them white. There we go. So yeah, the handle could go like this. It could also come down a bit more, the handle. But yeah, if the cup and handle does play out, though, and this is probabilities, that's why I say if, then it's the movement from the bottom of the cup to the top of the cup, and move to the breakout point, and get a shot at about 109, which is what? All-time high, which is our first target to the upside, you know, on our daily chart as well. Well, not our first target. You know, there's still some resistances below that, but that's our target. That's our target. Things are looking bullish on the weekly, honestly. We're bouncing off that 50, and like I told you last week, when we bounce off that 50, at least in this bull run, we saw massive moves. There and there. Bam, bounce. It's only twice throughout the bull run, but that's been the marker. So we're watching to see if we can stay over that 50. If we break under that 50, we're probably heading back to the 200, which is all the way down here at 47. Anyway, let's move on to our regular charts. We'll start on the daily just because we were talking about that. Pullback on the weekly, which would correspond to what we drew here, or what I drew here on the daily, my projected movement, which would be down, you know, coming down to the 200 here, hopefully not moving under it. At the very least, staying over 90 if we do get under that 200, and then quickly moving back over it, and then moving up to complete the downward trending wedge, which usually turns into an upward trending wedge, trending wedge, and goes back to where it started, which is up here at our all-time high of about 109. Possibly won't get that high. Maybe it'll fall short around 106. Who knows? We'll see. But if we can break over that, our higher targets are for that bull flag there, which are, you know, 115, which actually corresponds to our targets for the bull flag here on the weekly, the smaller one, if you take it from this point to that point. And the bigger one, you know where it goes, to 150. Just about. All right, back here to the daily. Daily, Stochs, not looking so hot. Although they're moving down rather quickly while the RSI is staying fairly high. Still putting in them higher highs, or higher lows, I mean. Possibly putting in a higher low right now. We're going to watch for the Stochs here to find bottom and turn around in their oscillation. How far down is it going to go? That's the question, though. Is it going to bounce off 94? Hey, hopefully. But it does look like it could be forming a head and shoulder. It's more visible on the 6-hour chart. I'll show you that in a second. Which would take it down to roughly right where I drew it down here at the 90. So let's take a look here at the 6-hour chart now for that possible head and shoulders that's forming. I'm just going to draw it out like this. Here's the shoulder, head, and then the other shoulder would form here. So we need to see, you know, price action get back up over 95.5 to really invalidate that head and shoulders pattern. But if it does play out, what's that play out to? We go from the top of the head to the shoulder line of the head. And then we move that to the shoulder line. We're going to make this red. Make it red to the shoulder line. And look at that, right down to that 90. 92.75, which is, I believe, actually exactly where the daily... That's a little bit higher than that. 94.26 is where the 200 is on the daily. But, yep, it's all right. So, close enough. But anyway, if we move down, if we see that move down, then our bull flag here on the 6-hour chart just needs to be adjusted a bit, or will need to be adjusted a bit. It already needs to be adjusted a bit, and then our move would be up to about 101 at that point. We gotta adjust this down. The lower bound is now to Kya for our bull flag. We'll get rid of the wick. There we go. Yeah. Yep. Move this red line over because it'll more so break out from around here. And yeah, so that's our bull flag here on the 6-hour chart. We are still over the 200 on the 6-hour chart, which is where we want to stay over because that keeps us feeling bullish. But it is in the Fibonacci or the golden pocket of the Fibonacci retracement zone here. So we'll see if price action makes it down that low. I hope it doesn't. Hope 90 can hold, but there's a chance. And the 90-minute chart. So let's take a look and see what's going to happen over the next day, maybe two. That's what this one kind of tells us. So this was this green mark here. That was from the 22-minute chart. I'm going to add another song to this playlist real quick just so we don't go completely quiet. Did you add it? There it goes. All right. So here on the 90-minute chart, you can see that we're right on 94 right now. We're got to bounce off of it, girl. Come on now. But if it doesn't, then, 90 is where we're going. But yeah, we're under the 200 here on the 90. This was I'm on the 22. Woo-hoo. This was a bearish div on the 22, or bullish div on the 22. As you can see, it didn't play out. Things don't always play out. This is a game of probabilities. The div actually continued all the way to here. But you'll notice that also a bearish div occurred here as well. Here. So we got higher highs on RSI, while we have lower highs on price. Now, what happens when there's a bearish and a bullish div? They get canceled out. So that got canceled out. The trend was to the bottom. We were under the 200. Price continued to move down. And that's kind of what I told you was going to happen yesterday. I didn't think that we were done from this divergence that we saw here. But now we might be. Because if you take a look at the 90-minute chart, you'll notice that the RSI has moved into overbought territory. Not only has it moved into overbought territory, but let me do this real quick, but we're seeing a bit of hidden bullish divergence on the 90. What does that mean, Dave? Well, if you look at the RSI here, right here, it's higher than the RSI is here. And if you look at the price action from there to there, you'll notice that price action is still higher. So technically, this is a bearish divergence. Still got this bull flag here. I'm just going to delete that. Goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah, but that bullish div there, it's a hidden bullish div, and that stays there as long as price action can stay over 93K. So let's see if price action can stay over 93K. RSI is overbought. Stochastics are overbought. This bearish div has probably played out at this point. We've moved down past the 786. Actually, we've invalidated this bear flag or bull flag in my mind. So we're going to get rid of it as well. Goodbye, bull flag. Goodbye, bull flag. Goodbye. Goodbye. All right, and we got rid of that one accidentally, so we'll leave that, and we'll just turn this one red for that bearish div, because I want to keep that bear div on there. All right, so where's happening on the 90? Well, we're going to see a bounce. In the next day, maybe two, we're going to see a bounce, and then we're going to watch for that bounce to get over 95.5, like we said before, but really 95.7 to get a higher high. But if it can do that, then that'll invalidate that head and shoulders that I showed you on the 6-hour chart. That would also put price action back over the 200 here in the 90. We just broke under it, which is bearish. Bearish to be under the 200. So let's see if the 90 can do it. Let's look at the 22. Let's look at the Stochs and the RSI here. RSI may put in a bullish div here as well, with price action putting in lower lows, while the RSI may be putting in a higher low if this is a bottom and it moves up from here. We'll find that out in 11 minutes when this candle closes. Well, and then I guess if the next candle goes down, then the RSI will continue moving down. It wouldn't put in like a bottom. The next candle needs to move up. When the candle closes, if the next one moves up, that would put in a bottom. Okay, so here we're under the 200. Stochs look down. Look like they're going to push a little further to the downside. But let's look at the 5 minute. The 5 minute looks like it's turning around. There's that divergence we were looking for on the 22. You can see it here on the 5. We are under the 200, but these guys are noisy. They move around that 200 quite a bit. So what we're going to watch for on the 5 is for RSI to find its way back into bullish territory. If it can do that, then it'll get back over the 200 and hopefully can get back over that 95 and validate that thing. So yeah, I mean, it's looking like it could. The lower time scales are saying there's a turnaround happening right now. The question is, will that become the right shoulder of the head and shoulders? Will it basically run sideways from here, or will it run back up, invalidate that head and shoulders, and give another chance for getting over that next resistance? Couldn't tell you, but the probability is 50-50 basically, man. There's nothing really telling us that it's going to go one way or the other on the 90-minute chart here, except for being overbought. But that can just mean that the RSI comes back up, stays in bearish territory by staying under the median line, the 50 here on the RSI, and then continues to the downside on the path to 90, like I said. So honestly, I think 90 is coming, but there's just as good of a chance as bouncing off of 94 here. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry again for going a little long on the weekly candle close. It seems to be my MO on these things. Music was courteously provided by Luminist, Veloa, and Sasquatch. You guys are awesome. Keep that ish up. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. Much love. And I will see you tomorrow.